Android 11 just came out a few days ago. This year is just another year where this update is an evolution and not a revolution. There's very small tweaks, nothing too major, but there are some changes. But a lot of these changes are just really available on skins like One UI and Oxygen OS already. So this year's Google update is not the greatest, but it's an update nonetheless. So I'm not gonna lie, in a lot of ways, Google seems to be playing catch up. So without wasting too much time, let me get right into the first new change. So starting off, let's look at one of the best new changes in my opinion, and that is new music control. So right now I am playing music from YouTube Music. So let me get out of here and let me pull down the notification shade, and you guys will see what it's like on this versus this. And one of the first changes I'll tell you is that whatever music or app was playing would always take up a little notification logo right there. It's not necessary. I don't know why Google did that, but it was always there. So that is removed on Android 11, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. I was complaining about that a lot, and I'm glad they fixed that. So when I pull down the notification shade, you'll see right here, while the music here is kind of just bunched in as another notification, the music here is a part of Control Center, but of the toggles right here. So things have changed there. So it looks a little bit different. If you pull down further, you guys can get a little bit more control on the music, including scrubbing through it, like, dislike, all that stuff, which is available right here on the go. But when you pull down, it's a little bit more clear where you can just play, pause, skip, or go back. And one feature that's not available here is that you can select the audio. So if you can select where the audio is coming from. So right now it's got phone speaker or my AirPod. So since that's not there, I can choose right from there. With this, you really couldn't. What you have to go through your Bluetooth settings and stuff if you want to change things around. Similarly, on the lock screen, we've got a really positive change. Number one, the cover art of your song no longer takes up the wallpaper. It doesn't take over your wallpaper like it used to. This was frustrating. I don't know why they did that. On the Android 11 now, you just get this clean, like almost ambient display like message here of what music is playing, and that's about it. There is no controls anymore, which sucks. That's just the way it is, I guess. But you can't swipe up from the top and get these controls, whereas here it was just right there in the center, in the front. So I wish that they would have changed that, but you still have controls. And I think the main thing here is that you finally don't have to deal with your wallpaper being changed and taken over by the cover art of the music you're listening to. All right, guys, so another change that I'm very happy about is that if you have Bluetooth audio connected, so if you've got headphones, your car, whatever, if you turn airplane mode on Android 10, when you did that, what it would do was it would immediately disconnect your Bluetooth as well. So I was listening to music, my Bluetooth got disconnected. You guys saw that right there. However, on Android 10, that does not happen. So let me go ahead and connect to my AirPods Pro. There we go, we're connected. Let me go ahead and start up that song. So there we go, song is connected. Let me go ahead, pull down. So when I hit airplane mode, watch that. The Bluetooth will not turn off. That's awesome. So Apple has had this feature for a while on iOS. I am glad that Android has finally implemented this. I really don't remember if other skins do this, if One UI or Oxygen OS does this, but it definitely did happen on stock Android. So I'm very happy about that. And also, this actually just stays on if you have headphones connected. If there's no headphones connected, it will turn off Bluetooth as well. So that's a cool little touch there and attention to detail. Number 3. So the bottom row on Android 11 now can be made to show you suggested apps. So what will happen is this row right here, the one right above the Google search bar, it's kind of like your home kind of page. So whatever page you're on, since I only have a single, these apps will move, but this row will always stay put. Now what you could do is you can turn on something called the suggested apps, and what it'll do is it'll learn from your behavior and suggest apps to you at certain times. Now personally, I don't like that. I want my static bar here to stay the same all the time because these are the apps I always use the most. So I don't like changing it, but for people who do, that would be a really good option. Moving on, another really fantastic feature of Android 11 is that you have a lot better conversation handling. So if you guys can see here, I've got conversations from 3 different things here. So I've got one from a text message, I've got a Telegram, I've got a Discord, and I've also got, a bunch of other notifications here that haven't been optimized to show up here, but they will be soon enough. So what this does is these conversations, they can actually kind of make your life easier when you're trying to find things. And one of the best parts is now you can have something called chat heads. So chat heads is very similar to what Facebook used to do, and they still do on Messenger. So what I can do is I can open up this chat head, and it will open up and stay there. And you guys can see this Telegram conversation will always be wherever I want it to. And I can, just tap it away. It goes to the side. And what it'll do is I can move it around to wherever I want it. I can add, and this can be all different apps up here. So there's going to be like 6 different apps right here with 6 different conversations going on, all always on your home screen there, or wherever you are, just floating there, and you can move it around, or you can close it and get rid of it. So that's a fantastic addition, and I think that people who are constantly multitasking and chatting with people all over social media with, through different apps, different services, this is going to be a fantastic addition. Number 6, let's talk about a feature that's been around but has not been officially implemented forever, and that is screen record. So finally, you can screen record with your Pixel, and you can do it on like base Android. You don't have to have an app for it. You don't need to have a skin that has that supported. You can just do it right from base Android. And this, what it does is it actually gives you a little bit more control where you can record audio as well. So, if you were going to make a tutorial or something, this would be fantastic. You can choose if you want it or not. You can choose if you want device audio to go through, like the music is playing, ringtone, stuff like that, or you can choose a microphone that you're connected to, like your headphones. That's a lot of options there, which is fantastic. And it will also give you the option to show you the touches on the screen as you're going through. So that's actually a fantastic addition. So this is a very good and capable screen recording. They're super late to this, but at least now that they've implemented it, they've built it in with some really cool features. Number 7, we finally have Nearby Share. So I know that this is rolled out for a couple of people before, but now with Android 11, it's a lot more widespread, and I finally have it on my phone, which I didn't before. So what it does is it gives you this Nearby Share, and what you can do is it's a lot like Apple's AirDrop, and whatever phones are close by, you can use it to send your file. So it'll show up right here, like a little page down there. And if there were any phones close by that had this enabled as well, I could share with it. Right now, because a lot of the Android phones haven't been updated to Android 11 yet, there's not many people, but I think as the years go on, everybody will be able to share files a lot easier with this, thanks to this Nearby Share feature. It's super late, but I'm very happy it's finally here. So number 8, let's look at multitasking. So this is Android 10. This is what multitasking looks like here. Let me pull up multitasking on Android 11. What you have here is you no longer have this bar at the bottom. What you have now is something called Screenshot and Select. So what I'm going to do is give you guys a closer look at what exactly that does. And what it does is when you select something, so let me go ahead. So let's say I want to select something here. What it'll do is it'll load up this screenshot, and it will recognize all the text on this page, and it'll let me copy it. So let me just say I want to copy the name of this song. I can do that, and I can hit copy right there. It doesn't even have to be text. Like, it could be an image, and it'll recognize it. So that is super, super helpful. And of course, you can just screenshot right from here. It's a shortcut, and the screenshot animation has changed as well, as you guys saw. Let me redo that so you guys have a better look at that. So this is a lot more reminiscent of what Apple does with their screenshot animation as well. It kind of takes a screenshot, goes to the bottom left where you get the edit options and share options right there. So if you want to mark them up, if you want to, write on them, so like this, if I want to write on it, I can do that with this very simply, and that is a fantastic addition to have. It's very useful, I think, but I'm a little bit, uncertain as to why they chose this position to have the select key there. I mean, I don't know if this was something they thought they should do, or it's just a little bit baffling to me, but I'm happy to have it nonetheless. All right, so another change here is that the Files app has gotten a major overhaul. So look at the Files app on the Android 10 and just look at the logos. They're very different logos. I checked, you can't update this. This is a Android 11 thing. I think it's built in. So look at the app when you go in immediately. Things are very different here. Let me just show you guys a little bit of a close-up on this. You guys can see what it looks like. It's very traditional Android, file manager with the Google stock one. This one is so much more different. It's got that new files at the top, and at the bottom there's something called a clean function, and then there's also, the browse with all the things laid out a lot better. So I think that this is a major improvement that they should have made a long time ago, but they finally have now, and it's actually really awesome. So let me just show you something like clean. What it shows you is it will show you all the files that it thinks is junk. It'll show you all the duplicate files you have, old screenshots, backed up photos that you can delete, apps that you don't use that much you can delete, stuff like that. It'll show you so you can, clean up your phone. And this will be especially helpful because, Google likes to skimp on storage. So, right there, I've got storage issues, but Google will help me as much as they can through that Files app. Change number 11. So now you know that Android has been focusing on gestures for a while now. They're going all in on it. So they still do allow you to use 3-button navigation, but they do prefer you use gestures. So now that they have done this for a couple of years now, they've also given you a little bit more control. So going back on Android is like you just swipe from the corner of anywhere on the side and just pull back, and you guys will see an arrow pop up, and it'll take you back to the previous screen. So, it's pretty much the same on both here. But the change here is that if you go to settings, on Android 10, you only have one general sensitivity setting. So you can either keep it low or high. You can't choose what you want it on each side. With Android 11, on the other hand, you guys can see you can choose the left and right side and change sensitivity based on your own preferences. So if you're somebody who, accidentally triggers one side more than the other, you can change the setting up and make sure that you can fine tune it to be perfect so that you don't have those accidental backs, or, when you do go back, it actually goes back instead of not registering that touch at all. So this was a little bit of an issue before for me, so I'm glad that they've brought this in, and I will tweak these around a little bit to see, just to find the right amount of sensitivity to set. So last year, Android finally brought in native dark mode support, but what they've done this year is they've also added custom time support. So they did have the sunset to sunrise option for dark mode before, but now you can set it at a custom time and figure it out and tailor it to your own needs. So say you wanted to turn on at 4 o'clock or at 7 o'clock or at midnight instead of at sunset or sunrise. It's a perfect way for you to customize it and tweak it and make it the exact way you want it. So that's a little bit of a small change that will be helpful for people who want a little bit more control over their dark mode preferences. Number 13, both of these phones have very different power menus. So if you hold the power down on Android 10, this is what the menu looks like. You've got a side pane here with power off, restart, screenshot, and emergency call. That's basically it. With Android 11, however, what you get is something a lot more helpful. So at the top, of course, you've got the power off, restart. But then as you go down, you can actually enable this to show your home smart home devices. So it acts as a hub where you can very easily manage things. So I've got all my lights loaded up here, so I can always check on these and always make sure that I can control them very easily. I don't have to do anything. I can be in any app, just hold down the power button, and boom, this is right there, ready to go. So, with the increasing amount of smart technology we have in our houses, this was such an important move, and I think a lot of people are gonna really, really like this. Number 14, let's talk about permissions. So this is one of the best features I think that Android 11 brings and is gonna change Google security a lot. And that is, you can now look at your permissions and do something that I've really wished you could have done for a long time. So as you guys can see, both of these look very similar, but at the bottom right here on Android 11, you have a permission that is not available here, and that is to cut the app off. So you can remove permissions of this app if it isn't used. So what it says is, to protect my data, if the app is unused for a few months, the following permissions will just be straight up removed. So say I download an app, use it for a couple of minutes or days. It's just an app I need, but it's got all this tracking info and data going. There's a bunch of apps like that on my phone. which I don't want to track me. So if my phone realizes, hey, he hasn't opened this app in 6 months, this app doesn't need permissions anymore, let's revoke them, and the next time he opens it, we'll ask him again and he can approve at that point. So this is awesome. I really wish they would give you a kind of day, let you select how long you want this to go. So I personally would probably do this at a very short interval. So like 1 week. If I don't use an app for 1 week, remove its permissions, just so that the apps I use regularly get the permissions, but the ones I don't can't do anything in the background, and I'm a lot more aware of apps that are constantly kind of doing this. So that would be very cool if they could do that. Hopefully in the next update they do, but I'm just glad that this feature was implemented in any way. Just like it's such a good move for security, and I think that it's clear Google is taking this a lot more seriously now, and I'm glad they are. So finally, let's look at everybody's favorite thing, the Easter egg. So every Android phone has an Easter egg when you tap on its version number, and this one does too. So this one is a dial that has 10 notches. Now, what happens is when you increase it all the way, it stops at 10. Go down, still stop at 10. But if you keep going, it eventually goes up to 11. So that signifies going up to 11, meaning Android 11. So that's pretty fantastic. But also what it does is it gives you this cat feature where what you can do is if you have HomeKit enabled, this home pane on your power menu, there is a new thing where you can add controls for a cat. So see other apps, look at that, cat controls. And if you enable this, you start using it, you can get cats. So if I play this, tap this, what will happen is I'll get these virtual cats in my notification. So it's not really anything that's useful, it's just something that's cool. It's just something that is a little bit of a thing. So right there, look at that, I got a cat. So I've got 2 cats here. They really don't do anything. I have not figured out what you can do with these, but it's just a cool thing that it's an Easter egg, right? That's like there's not supposed to be too much of a point to it. It's just something for the fans to appreciate. So that's it for the changes. Let me talk a little bit about the benchmarks here. So benchmarks wise, this was a little bit weird. So on Android 10, I got on Antutu 430,768, and on Geekbench, I've got a single core score of 717 and a multi-core score of 2371. When I updated the phone, and I ran these tests multiple times just to make sure that there was no fluke, and the results were a little bit varied, but I averaged them out. So on Antutu, I was getting about 390,000, a score of 390,000. I've got a couple screenshots that are way low, way high, but I got this one about 395,595. And then I've got a Geekbench score of 703 single core and a multi-core of 2260. So on Antutu, there was about a 10% drop. On Geekbench, there's a 2% drop on single core and 5% drop on multi-core. So this phone definitely has suffered a little bit because of this update performance-wise. I will keep checking this over the next couple of days to make sure that this just isn't kind of teething issues, but this update has been installed on my phone for over 24 hours now, so I don't think this is anything that's just a fresh update related. I think that this update has kind of taken a toll on the processing power and just the capability of this phone. So one thing that does bother me is that this phone gets really hot. So this gets very, very hot quickly after the update. It didn't get that uncomfortably hot before, but now it just even 10-15 minutes of very normal usage and the phone will start to heat up. So, that is just something that is sadly enough a commonplace with some Android updates. It just ends up making your device perform a little bit worse, especially major updates. This was, again, a very minor update. There's not really that many noticeable changes. There's definitely a bigger focus here on security, privacy, and just polishing things and notifications to make sure that the experience is improved overall instead of just, focusing on throwing a bunch of new features at it and hoping that people are going to be okay with it. I think that I'm okay with, these smaller evolutionary updates as long as the phone keeps getting better and better. And I think that as I wrap this up, I do want to say if you are a Pixel 4 user or a Pixel 4 XL user, hold off on this update for a little bit. There are performance issues and the heat issue is definitely something I've noticed. Not to mention my battery has been taking a serious hit. I've already gone through 12% of battery in the about I'd say 25 minutes this phone has been disconnected from charge, and the only thing I've really been doing is demoing the phone for you on camera. So battery has taken a big hit, but I think these are all teething issues that with an update or two more will sort themselves out. So hold off for a couple of weeks, wait for the next one to come, and then update with that. And that's it for this one, guys. That was the Android 11 new features and review. Let me know what you guys think if you've already got Android 11. And if you already have these features on your phone, I know Google is playing catch up, as I said, but it's just good that they're coming into the age and getting these features into phones. If you have any questions about Android 11, feel free to ask down in the comments below. And if you haven't already, be sure to follow me on social media. All the links are going to be on the screen right here. And of course, the links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.